I'm Lori from MrGrip.com. In a previous video I showed you how to use 1/4-inch soaker hose in your garden containers. Today I'm going to show you how to use the 1/4-inch soaker hose in another layout, and I'm also going to show you different ways that you can water your containers and your hanging baskets. Alright, here we go. This is going to be so easy you're not even going to believe it. Alright, I already have my stuff pre-cut to save a little bit of time, and I'm going to put this set up in a round whiskey barrel. So we're going to start with a 1/4-inch cross. Make our first circle with the soaker hose, and I'm going to take a little piece of 1/4-inch poly tubing, put that on the other end, then we're going to take a T, put that in the end of the poly tubing, and our other smaller piece of 1/4-inch soaker hose to make our inside circle. Now if you want, you could also make 3 circles if you have a little larger pot. And then this end of the cross we're going to use to put another piece of 1/4-inch poly tubing to tie it into our main line. So let's go see how this fits. Alright, I'm here at my whiskey barrel. I've got my little setup here. 1/4-inch cross. I'll punch a hole in my main line. Add my 1/4-inch connector. Okay. I'm going to put my 1/4-inch poly tubing in there, and then connect it up to my double circle here. If you want, you can use some of the 1/4-inch stakes to hold it down, but this barrel's ready to roll. Okay, now let's move on to some other options for your containers and your baskets. Here we're going to be working with stake and risers. This is your stake, this is your riser. Okay, the riser itself can only be used with a threaded fitting, such as a threaded sprayer, and they thread into the top. If you want to use a barbed fitting, you need to use this little guy here. It's threaded on one end and barbed on the other. So we can thread that into the riser. Of course, you'd want to thread it all the way in. And then we're going to take a little piece of 1/4-inch tubing, put it on there. And then I'm going to take an elbow, put that on there. Another little piece of 1/4-inch tubing. So I want to get this so that it's going to point down into my container. Another elbow. And then another short piece of tubing so that I can put my barbed sprayer in here. Here I have my barbed sprayer. I'm going to put that in the end of it. This happens to be an adjustable one, so you can adjust the spray on this. On the end of the riser, that's where you're going to tap in with your 1/4-inch tubing that's going to lead to your main line so that you can get water up into this. We're going to snap this into the stake. You see the little clip there? And like I said, eventually you're going to have the 1/4-inch tubing to tie in here and attach it to your main line. You're going to set this in your pot, and you can raise that if you have higher ones, higher plants. The risers come in 3 different sizes for various plant heights.
Okay.
Okay, here's another little sprayer that we have. It comes on an elbow, so it eliminates the need for using one of the elbows. So we're going to use the little threaded barb piece in the riser, like I showed you earlier. Little piece of tubing. An elbow. Another piece of tubing, and remember, if you keep these sitting in the sun, they're a little bit easier to work with. And we're going to put our sprayer on. Snap it into the stake. And again, put it in your plant, raise it, lower it, whatever you like. Again, you're going to attach the 1/4-inch tubing there that's tied into your main line to supply it with water.